This is planet Earth. These are rays of short wavelengths of sunlight hitting the Earth. Now that the sunlight has hit the Earth has warmed. It radiates heat back into space in the form of infrared radiation. If only this happened, then Earth would be cold. All heat would be lost back into space. Greenhouse gases in our atmosphere prevent this from happening. Earth is warmer than outer space because our atmosphere has the ability to retain heat. Greenhouse gases such as the carbon dioxide displayed here are less transparent to heat than light. This means that the infrared radiation coming from Earth's surface is, like in the picture, scattered when it hits the gases. Wasn't that awesome voiceover? Yeah, sorry, we had to get through that visual. It's a lot easier for me to explain things after, because it's how your brain works. So let's review the greenhouse effect. Gases let the light in, don't let the heat out. Well, not that much of it anyways. But remember, the greenhouse effect is good. Without it, we wouldn't be here. Without it, Earth would have an average temperature of negative 17 degrees Celsius. Global warming is the rise of temperatures on Earth, which, by the way, have risen by an average of 0.7 degrees Celsius. That's quite a lot. Here's the thing. We always hear people talk about the greenhouse effect and global warming as if they were one thing. But they're not. One's good and one's bad. So here's the thing we humans have done. We've increased the greenhouse gas emissions by, well, quite a lot. What happens then? The greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere also increase. What happens with that? Well, the gases retain more heat. More heat, rise in global temperatures. What's that? Global warming. We also call it the enhanced greenhouse effect. Why? Well, more gases, more heat retention. Enhanced! Isn't that great? How about I list some greenhouse gases you should know about? Water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, oxides of nitrogen. Okay, so how is it that it's our fault that all those are increasing? So do you know the most likely place where your electricity is coming from right now? Fossil fuel burning. What's that? Burning, well, coal, carbon, into carbon dioxide, polluting the atmosphere. Bad. What's in your car's exhaust? Oxides of nitrogen. What happens to those? Up into the atmosphere. Actually, that's my ceiling, but then, atmosphere. Do you eat meat? Do you know where that comes from? Well, I mean, it's a whole terrible industry, but my point here is that there are a bunch of cows, and they're flatulating, and do you know what comes out? Methane gas. And what happens to that? Atmosphere, pollution, greenhouse gases, enhanced greenhouse effect. Bad, 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 bad. So yes, it is all human activity that has increased the amount of greenhouse gases throughout the years. So is there anything you can do to change any of this? Well, probably. I mean, you're a human, you're causing a bunch of it, so am I. Let's see what we can do. We talked about the car exhaust, didn't we? Carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen. Yeah, why don't you walk places? Maybe ride a bike. You'll exercise as well. It's a win-win. Do yourself a favor and turn off your air conditioning right now. Get some curtains or something. Because not only are you increasing your carbon dioxide emissions, you're also creating a heat bubble in your town because, it's not just inside where it cools everything, it's outside where it makes everything hotter with the hot air you're expelling. Yeah. Bad. Another thing, change this for this. Don't be outdated. This is so much less efficient than this. This can save you like 40% of the energy that this would consume. Because by consuming electricity, what are you doing? Burning fossil fuels, essentially. And let's talk about more appliances. Your fridge. Close it. You're wasting energy. It takes quite a bit to cool down that fridge. TVs, computers, basically everything. Why don't you unplug it? You're not using it. And you know what happens when it's plugged in? It sucks a little bit of energy at a time, whether it's on standby, whether it's turned off. Okay, how about heating? Take shorter showers because it also takes a lot of energy to heat things up. What about when you're making a cup of tea, cup of coffee? Fill the kettle with how much water you need. Because the more water, the more energy that's needed. Basic stuff, guys. Plastic bottles, so it takes quite a bit of energy to make them, so why don't you instead recycle the one you're using right now, or maybe consider getting one of those stylish little metal bottle. Use less paper because you know what paper is made out of? Trees. What do trees do? They suck carbon dioxide out of the air. And when we have less trees, well, we have less things to suck carbon dioxide out of the air. So reduce, reuse, recycle. About paper, do you really need that extra page? Can you flip it over and reuse it? Because in the end, recycling also takes quite a bit of energy. And the best one I saved for last. Eat less meat. Also, it's not healthy. Do a meatless Monday. Conserve energy. Reduce your greenhouse gas emissions, your indirect ones through the cow's farts. Less methane in the air. Making everyone happy. We all need you to make the right choice. And we need you to start today. Because we cannot have that mentality of, oh, well, if I don't do it, there's a bunch of other people doing it. It's not like I'm going to make a difference. Yes, you are. Unless, of course, you want to end up like this, which you don't.